Making sense of passive voice questions. Hello, language enthusiasts. Welcome to another episode on our English grammar series. Today we're focusing on a key area: passive voice in questions. This might sound a little complicated at first, but by the end of this video, you'll have a firm grasp of how to form questions using the passive voice. Let's get started. First things first, let's quickly remind ourselves what the passive voice is. It's a way to structure a sentence where the subject receives the action, rather than doing it. For example, in an active voice sentence, we say, John, subject, ate, verb, the apple, object. But in the passive voice, the apple, subject, was eaten, verb, by John, object. Today, we'll learn how to apply this in the context of questions. Now, onto the meat of the matter. When forming passive voice questions, we generally follow this structure: auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb. Here's an example. Is the apple eaten by John? But let's make it simpler. Start with a question in the active voice. Did John eat the apple? Now, let's transform this into the passive voice. Remember, we focus on the action, eating the apple, not who did it, John. So we end up with, was the apple eaten by John? The auxiliary verb, was, matches with the past tense in the original sentence. Sometimes, we don't include the by phrase in passive voice questions because it's understood from context. So, was the apple eaten by John? Could become, was the apple eaten? This is especially useful when the doer of the action isn't important or known. For yes, no questions, the structure remains the same. For example, has the work been finished? Is a simple yes, no passive voice question. When it comes to WH questions, the WH word, who, what, when, where, why, how, typically comes at the beginning. For example, who was the book written by? Or, where was the movie filmed? And that's a wrap on forming questions with a passive voice. Remember, practice is key when mastering these structures. Try transforming active voice questions into passive voice and vice versa. With a bit of time and patience, you'll master the art of passive voice questions. As always, stay curious and keep learning.